We compared Trump's health stats to a couple of presidents.
Yeah, our Marcelino Benito is here and has those results. Marcelino, what'd you find?
Well, guys, we found out Trump is in pretty good health. He hasn't been hospitalized since he was 11 years old, but that does not mean he'd be the healthiest president ever. If elected, Mr. Trump will be the healthiest individual ever elected to the presidency. It's a bold assertion in a letter from Donald Trump's personal physician, Dr. Harold Bornstein. That's raised eyebrows.
Healthiest ever.
And prompted jokes.
That's only, of course, if he keeps taking his prescription of KFC and taco bowls.
So we took a closer look at new medical information Trump released today and compared his health to two past presidents, so you can decide for yourself if the healthiest ever claim is true.
The more information the public has, obviously, the more informed a decision the public can make.
Trump wins the cholesterol battle, coming in with the lowest number when compared to President George W. Bush and President Obama.
It's normal for a man his age.
When we look at triglycerides, Trump is right in the middle. But then there's body mass index, and that's where Trump's doctors claim hits a speed bump. Trump has a BMI of 29.5, Obama comes in at 22.8, Bush at 25.6. Trump is borderline obese, 20 to 30 pounds overweight, and he knows it.
If I had one thing, I'd like to lose weight.
That was Trump on Dr. Oz this morning. His campaign also released information on his past medical tests. Take a look. In 2013, Trump underwent a colonoscopy. A few months later, a cardiac evaluation, and earlier this year, an EKG and chest ray. Everything came back normal.
You think this is so easy?
On the trail, Trump is now using health to hit Hillary.
I don't know, folks. You think Hillary would be able to stand up here for an hour and do this?
But at the end of the day, our political analyst doesn't think health will sway voters one way or another, unless Trump goes too far.
Making fun of it crosses the boundary. And for some voters, it might be seen as disrespectful, as sexist, and as a result, doesn't help him.
Now, I polled people on Twitter today, asked them if they feel like the candidates need to release more medical records. 62% of people told me they want more information from both candidates, but it's unlikely we'll get any more, though, before Election Day.
When Mitt Romney lost the election in 2012, Republicans came up with a new strategy to take the White House this year. Now that the election is just 27 days away, we wanted to verify how closely the GOP followed the plan. Marcelino Benito is live at the stand with what he found tonight. Marcelino?
Well, Len, I have that report right here. It's about 100 pages of specific steps Republicans were supposed to follow, but Donald Trump basically threw it all out.
We have come to the end of a long journey.
President Obama, to congratulate him on his victory.
Back-to-back defeats in the battle for the White House forced the GOP to figure out why they were losing. Republicans drafted this 100-page autopsy report. It was a roadmap for the GOP on how to win the presidency in 2016. But then Donald Trump came down an escalator, thrust himself into presidential politics, and nearly ignored every recommendation.
The party did it by putting it on the back burner, and Donald Trump basically took it off the stove.
GOP delegate Vlad Divichuk says Trump started cooking up his own message, and now the party's on the verge of losing again.
The party has a lot of soul searching to do. I think we need to begin the process of rebuilding now.
The 2012 report called for the GOP to be more inclusive. Quote, "The Republican Party is one of tolerance and respect. We need to ensure the tone of our message reflects these core principles."
They're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
But one comment after another.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
Grab them by the
Trump alienated large swaths of minorities and women, two groups you can't win the White House without.
When you have the nominee of the party basically ostracizing an entire voting group, and making it almost impossible to outreach to them and convince them to vote for your side of the political equation, it quickly becomes a very short game.
The report also urged Republicans make a concerted effort to reach out to black voters by, quote, establishing a presence in African American communities.
To the African American community, I say, vote for Donald J. Trump.
Trump listened.
You've seen Trump himself going to these groups and going to these churches and speaking with many of these people.
You're living in poverty. Your schools are no good. You have no jobs.
58% of your youth is unemployed. What the hell do you have to lose?
But Davidic says it was the wrong approach.
He's been able to make some inroads, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Now with a month till decision day, Davidic fears the Republican Party will have 4 more years to craft a new game plan. This time, he hopes, the party follows it.
We're going to have to look at a lot of the mistakes we've made, regardless of what the outcome is.
Now, Donald Trump did do one thing right and follow one of the steps in here. Our team of researchers found that he's earning about 2/3 of the support of white working-class voters. That is a lot more than Mitt Romney got in 2012, but it's yet to be seen if that will be enough to win in November. Len, back to you. Clinton critics point to all kinds of wild health issues they claim she's had over the years, using them to suggest she might not be healthy enough to be president. Supporters say that's nonsense, and tonight we know what her doctor says.
Every time I think about Trump, I get allergic.
Conspiracy theorists say it's a lot more than allergies. Theories about Clinton's health have swirled for years online and on right-wing conservative TV outlets.
Go online and put down Hillary Clinton illness. Take a look at the videos for yourself.
Make sure I'm alive.
Oh my God, there's nothing there.
There's nothing.
Clinton has tried to laugh it off, but now this video from the 9/11 memorial nearly fainting is fueling concern something is seriously wrong.
Hillary Clinton's health, which was sort of on the fringes, has now arisen as a major issue. She's had a fall in the past. She's had some dizziness, and the blogosphere has made this into, Hillary Clinton's close to the deathbed.
Critics have circulated videos like this claiming she has seizures, and it doesn't stop there. They say she has Parkinson's, autism, or even brain damage. All of it false and not based in fact. What we know about Clinton's health comes from a 3-page letter released by her personal physician, Dr. Lisa Bardak.
Are you feeling better? Yes, thank you very much.
We put together this timeline to walk you through her medical past. In 1998, she developed a blood clot in a vein in her leg. 11 years later, she broke her elbow after a stumble at the State Department and underwent a successful surgery. In 2012, she suffered a concussion and ended up in the hospital when a blood clot developed in a vein behind her right ear. Those issues were treated and resolved. Her doctor signed off on a clean bill of health in 2015 during a routine physical. Now, after several days of coughing attacks on the campaign trail, she's been diagnosed with pneumonia. Our political analyst says it creates an opening for a Trump campaign beginning to climb in the polls.
If she's frail, and that frailty shows up not just in the video, but in her inability to maintain the campaign schedule she set out, I think Donald Trump can exploit that, and exploit it well.
Now, to be fair, the Clinton campaign has released a lot more medical information than the Trump campaign, but the Clinton camp announced today it plans to release even more detailed medical information later this week. It hopes to put to bed any questions this latest episode has raised about her ability to serve as president.
We're hearing from a lot of viewers who are questioning the accuracy of those polls.
Our Marcelino Benito has been looking into your concerns. He's live in the newsroom tonight. Marcelino?
Well, guys, it turns out our viewers, they were right. We looked at the data, and some of the polls out there are skewed in favor of the Democrat. This race is closer than polling shows and more unpredictable than ever. It's a simple question.
Who are you voting for? Voting this November?
That this year is a little harder to answer.
I haven't made up my mind yet.
We hit the streets today to conduct an informal, unscientific poll.
Are you voting this November?
I'm gonna go for the lady. Don't ask me who I'm voting for.
You won't tell me?
No, I won't.
Polling is harder than it looks.
Who are you voting for?
Well, I think that's none of your business.
Okay, fair enough.
And all polls can be skewed.
Do you plan to vote this November?
Depending on who you ask. After about an hour of polling, 52% of people told us they're voting Clinton, 5% chose Trump, and 38% hadn't made up their minds. Our poll clearly flawed, but as we found out, others might be too.
If you do it right, polls can be incredibly valuable, but they can also, if you do it wrong, they can just be worthless.
Political operative Chris Begala says you have to take a close look at the fine print on how polls are conducted. So we did. The NBC Wall Street Journal poll earlier this week had Clinton up 11 points, but they only questioned 500 people.
500 for a national? No, you need at least 1,700.
46% were Democrats, only 36% Republicans. Our viewers suggested it was a skewed poll. Begala says they're right. It didn't accurately represent the electorate.
You have to look behind the scenes, who are they asking?
Begala believes the race is likely a little closer than polling suggests. This isn't a done deal just yet.
The Clinton campaign is happy that obviously she's surging in the polls, but they're nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs because they know that the electorate isn't passionate about her.
Now, history's taught us polling can be wrong. Case in point, the UK's Brexit vote. Polling predicted the UK would vote to remain in the European Union by 14 points. But on election day, the Leave vote ended up winning by 4 points. Some pollsters argue there may be a hidden Trump vote out there that current polls are missing.